Welcome, you dedicated deep divers. Feels like we're right here ringside for the most electric stage of the COPACCHAI Super July tournament. We are plunging straight into the quarterfinals, both the men's Elite Cup and the women's Elite Cup, and wow, what a phase. Every single match seemed to bring twists, turns, outcomes you just couldn't predict. Yeah, so our mission today, pull back that curtain. Look at these incredible contests. We're not just, reading out scores. We want to dissect the moments, the tactics, the sheer mental grind that decided who went through this deep dive. It's all about making sure you feel like you saw every second armed with all our notes and data. Honestly, if there's one theme here, it's just unpredictability. These weren't just games, they were stories. Resilience, adaptation, moments where the human element just ripped up the script. All right, let's get into it then. Starting with the men's Elite Cup, chaos wasn't just visiting, it basically took over. First up, this huge national duel from Dharmendra Karube. Atlas versus Alvarado. And it starts as just a massive crushing blow for Alvarado.
Only 33 minutes in, their star keeper, Gatto, goes down hard in a challenge. Injury. Tournament over. Just like that.
Right, and that Gatto injury, it's more than just losing one player. Our notes on Alvarado, especially their coach, they talk a lot about crisis response training. It's not just about, changing formation, it's psychological, regrouping instantly. So for them to lose their main keeper that early and still stay in it, stay cohesive like our data shows, that really speaks volumes about how they practice responding, not just a gut feeling.
And what a response it was, because despite that huge setback, somehow Alvarado finds themselves 3-2 up, deep into injury time. Second half, looks like they're through. You think the drama's done right. No chance.
Yeah.
The unthinkable happens. Lucas Gustavo Valencia, he'd already scored a penalty for Alvarado earlier.
Yeah.
He tragically heads the ball back into his own goal, ties the game. I mean, how does a team even process that, let alone recover? With everything hanging in the balance.
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You look at sports psychology, there's this thing called adversity-induced cohesion. Sometimes these massive shocks, they can actually, weirdly, bring a team closer together, galvanize them if the leadership's strong, and Alvarado clearly had that. They then suffered another injury in extra time. Atlas looked stronger, fitter, like they were about to score any second, but Alvarado just absorbed it all, that double shock, and they pushed it all the way to penalties. Just extraordinary resilience.
And the drama just ramps up for the penalty. And get this, Lucas Gustavo Valencia, the own goal scorer, he steps up first for Alvarado and scores. Just buries it. Incredible nerve. Then both teams nail their first 4 penalties. It comes down to the 5th kick for Atlas, and it's saved by Alvarado's reserve goalkeeper, the backup, stepping up in the biggest moment possible.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture here, it's just a massive testament to that collective resilience. Our reports on Alvarado's reserve keeper, he wasn't the starter, but they did highlight his specific penalty-saving stats. That wasn't just luck, it was a backup, delivering exactly what he was there for. Specialized skill. Alvarado, completely against the odds, somehow snatched victory right from the jaws of defeat. People will be talking about that game for years.
Absolutely incredible story. So what happens when adversity hits early and keeps hitting? Let's shift focus now. Nostalgia versus Al-Mashasa. Sheer grit tested differently here. Nostalgia faced, huge challenges. Lost 2 players to injury, Absol Majid in the first half, then Color, who replaced Absol Majid, he goes down injured in the second half too. Despite being down 2 key guys, it's still locked at 1-1 deep into injury time.
Well, the depth of a squad and just that raw fighting spirit you need to stay competitive when you lose 2 players like that. That's the mark of a really determined side. Our analysis of Nostalgia's squad depth actually suggested they had decent reserves, better than average maybe. But this match really proved it. It wasn't just tactical flexibility, it showed the coaches really believed in everyone on that bench.
But the drama wasn't over for Nostalgia. Veteran sub-forward Donnie Sabbath steps up, becomes the absolute hero, pops up right there in the penalty area, scores Nostalgia's winner.
Injury time.
Seals their passage.
And that just perfectly highlights how invaluable experienced players can be off the bench in those crunch moments. Our metrics on impact subs, they consistently show veterans like Sabbath often have that higher game intelligence, that composure under pressure. It lets them grab those half chances when everything's on the line. So the team from Menor, they definitely earned their spot riding that veteran know-how.
Okay, next up, another national derby, this time from Encoats. Palfero versus Paradense. And guess what? Another game shaped by a major injury. Jocko Loco, huge player for Paradise, suffers a really severe injury. It looks like he's out for over 5 months. That's a massive blow, changes their whole dynamic.
Oh, absolutely. The long-term impact of losing someone like Jocko Loco, you can't really overstate it. He's the creative engine for Paradise. His absence, it forces immediate tactical shifts, really tests the squad's adaptability. Our data usually shows a dip in attacking fluency after losing a player like that, but Paradise's reaction, it was fascinating.
It really was. Because Paradise, they never lost their fight. Striker Colt Stopira, he pounces. Ball breaks loose in the area after a corner isn't cleared properly. Stopira slots it home. Decisive goal. Paul Farrow just couldn't find a way back.
Yeah, and this shows a key point, right? Even if you lose your star player, that individual spark, the team's collective determination, and their ability to just seize one small tactical chance, that can be enough. Our set-piece analysis for Paradise, it actually flagged their focus on second balls, capitalizing on those defensive scrambles. So that goal, it wasn't just a lucky bounce. It felt like a practiced reaction to that specific situation, the uncleared corner. Paradise just showed incredible resolve to grind out that win, even after losing their main creator. Undeniable grit.
Right. And finally, for the Men's Elite Cup, Boulevard from Marbella and Gimeka Calcio from Ilaria. Maybe not the glamour tie on paper. Some thought this was an under-the-radar match. Not much expected, maybe. But they delivered an absolutely fantastic game, finished 1-1 in regular time.
Yeah, sometimes those dark horse matchups, they throw up the best excitement, don't they? Our metrics on performance pressure, they often show teams without that heavy burden of being the favorite. They can play looser, take a few more risks, deliver really compelling football. And this game was a perfect example. Both teams played well above what people maybe expected.
And compelling is right. Gimeka Calcio, they snatched their ticket to the next round with a super dramatic goal. 106 minute, deep into extra time, just when you're thinking penalties. Bam!
That kind of late extra time goal, it often comes down to sheer endurance, doesn't it? And exploiting just one moment, a lapse in concentration, maybe physical weakness from the opponent. Our physical conditioning reports on Gimeka Calcio actually showed they were well prepared for long games. Finding that composure, that precise execution when everyone else is exhausted, it really speaks to the preparation. Great finish.
Okay, let's pivot then. The Women's Elite Cup quarterfinals. Just as gripping. Maybe even more dramatic in some ways. Plenty of decisive moments here, too. We kick off with a real top-tier clash. Paso Verde from Menor against Solnox 76 from Levadia Mariana. Moranzniak gets a goal for Solnox 76, puts them ahead, and that immediately forces Paso Verde onto the front foot, pushing hard for the equalizer.
Right, and that tactical challenge, trying to break down a really well-drilled defense when you're chasing the game, it's huge. Our scores for Solnox 76's defensive organization, they consistently rank them among the most disciplined teams out there. They're incredibly tough to break down once they get a lead. It takes patience from the attacking team, but you also have to commit players forward, which always leaves you a bit vulnerable at the back.
And that equalizer just never materialized for Paso Verde. The game got really heated near the end, ended with a bit of a scuffle, actually. And Marilyn Perrin from Paso Verde gets shown a red card. Such a frustrating way for their tournament hopes to end.
Yeah, that emotional intensity in these huge games, it can definitely boil over. Controlling those emotions becomes absolutely critical. Our analysis of Solnox 76, especially under pressure, it showed they kept their composure really well, even when things got physical intense. That kind of disciplined emotional control plus their solid defense, that was definitely key to them getting through.
And speaking of red cards, the game between CD Unami from Darmendra Karube and Cedros from Marbella. Wow. This one was practically decided by a red card. Marta Sosa, Cedros center back, sent off in the 54th minute. And from that exact moment, her team just completely collapsed, fell apart.
Oh, absolutely. It just shows that immediate, devastating ripple effect when you lose such a crucial player, especially a central defender, right in the middle of a knockout game. Our tactical breakdown showed CD Unami instantly changed their shape. They pushed their fullbacks way higher, creating these 2-on-1 situations out wide. It just pulled Cedro's remaining defenders completely out of position, so they're collapsed. It wasn't just about being a player down, it was a total tactical unraveling.
And CD Unami were ruthless, absolutely capitalized, scored 3 goals, plus it was compounded by an own goal from Cedros in the 91st minute. Made the final score a really cruel 4-0. CD Unami, who, let's be honest, were a huge surprise package coming in, they keep their dream run going. What a clinical statement win.
Yeah, zooming out a bit, it's just a stark reminder, isn't it? How one single moment, one incident can completely flip a game's script. CD Unami showed incredible efficiency in taking that opportunity. Not just once, But again and again, it was textbook exploitation of a numerical advantage. Really impressive.
Okay, next up, Flores Delankine versus Hanami. Flores Delankine took this one 1-0. But the scoreline, maybe it doesn't tell the full story. Our game stats showed had way more action, more back and forth than you'd expect from a 1-0.
Yeah, scorelines can definitely be deceptive sometimes. Our underlying stats, like expected goals and things like that, they confirm it was a really fiercely fought match. Chances at both ends. One team just managed to be more clinical or found that one key moment. But the bigger story here, the really interesting part, is about the tournament history.
Yes, exactly. This is where it gets historic, especially for longtime followers of the Women's Elite Cup, with Hanami going out and Paso Verde losing earlier. This marks the very first time ever that Menor will not have a team representing them in the women's semifinals. That's a truly massive shift in the landscape.
That's a hugely significant indicator, yeah. It shows how the competitive balance in the women's tournament is evolving. Our trend analysis across regions has been showing places like Liveria Mariana and Dharmendra Karube consistently closing the gap on the traditional powerhouses like Menor. It suggests, a broadening of talent, more competitive depth right across the board, which is ultimately fantastic for the women's game.
Definitely. Okay, quarterfinal. Maria Halom from Liveria Mariana against Sanma from Visaya. This was a really tight one. Maria Halom holding a slim 2-1 lead in the dying minutes. Sanma just throwing everything forward, bodies pouring into the attack. You could feel the tension ratchet up.
That's pure knockout football right there, isn't it? Both teams pushing absolutely flat out till the final whistle, sacrificing defensive shape for one last shot at glory. It creates those heart-stopping, completely unpredictable moments where one tactical tweak, one burst of energy can decide everything.
But then, Maria Halom wins the ball back, launches this deadly counterattack, and scores their third goal. Vicky Lani, the young left winger, just come off the bench, fresh legs making the difference. Game over. Sealed with authority.
Yeah, what a classic example that is. And a decisive counterattack perfectly showcases the impact of bringing on a fresh player. Clinical execution under intense pressure, our analysis of transition play, it really highlights Maria Halom's speed in switching from defense to attack, exploiting the space Sanma left behind by pushing so many players forward. Lani's fresh legs, her direct run, it was just perfectly timed for that critical moment. Great coaching move, great finish.
All right, then, let's unpack this for the semis. These quarterfinals, they've definitely thrown up some fascinating matchups, maybe changed a few predictions. In the Men's Elite Cup, first up, nostalgia. They battled through those injuries, showed amazing depth. They're facing Alvarado, who are, you have to assume, absolutely exhausted physically, mentally, after that insane roller coaster they just went through. Our internal data suggests Alvarado's recovery is going to be seriously tested there. And then Paradense, now without Jaco Loco. Suddenly, maybe they don't have that favorite tag anymore against Gemma Calcio. Gemma Calcio showed incredible composure, that endurance to win late in extra time. Our tactical projections now see this as a much, much closer contest than maybe we thought initially. Really balanced. Okay, switching to the Women's Elite Cup semis, number one favorites, Solnock 76, defensively so solid. They're up against the huge underdog, CD Unami, who just clinically dismantled their opponents after that red card. Our analysis indicates CD Unami's confidence must be sky high. Classic David versus Goliath narrative shaping up there. And the other semi, Flores Delankine versus Maria Halom.
This just looks like a completely open game. Could go either way. Both teams showed real tenacity, ability to win under pressure, especially finding those key moments in attack.
Yeah, if we zoom out again, connect the dots, these quarterfinals, they've really set the stage for some compelling stories in the semis, haven't they? We're seeing how factors beyond just raw talent, things like injuries, those dramatic upsets, tactical flexibility, sheer resilience, they're going to play a massive role in who goes through now. It's not just about who looks best on paper anymore. It's about who can adapt, who can overcome when things go wrong, and critically, how quickly they can find solutions right there mid-game.
What an absolutely incredible set of games. Just packed with drama, unexpected twists, heroic moments, really defined the COPACCHAI Super Jala quarterfinals. We really hope this deep dive gave you that thorough, compelling insight into all the twists and turns, armed you with the context you need heading into the semis.
And maybe this prompts an important question for you listening in. What actually defines a champion in these really high-stakes tournaments? Is it just about the raw talent? Or is it maybe more about that ability to overcome crushing adversity? To adapt on the fly when your best plans just fall apart? Finding those unexpected moments of brilliance like we saw so clearly in these quarterfinals? Definitely something to think about as we look forward to the next round.
That's a fantastic thought to leave everyone with. Thank you so much for joining us on this absolutely wild ride through the quarterfinals. Stay tuned for more deep dives into fascinating subjects right here. We will see you on the next pitch.